So the penis unplugged. When the laws of entropy touch, you better dread the judge. Wiser men than us been crushed and find dust. When a fortune cookie dummy unfucked, they just shrug. A note like a broken electrical pole song. For the done, for the scum of the
Good morning, Night City! This is another episode of Bringing Down the Grindhouse, coming from our back alley studio. And tonight we're discussing Cyberpunk 2077. I'm Mitch.
I'm That's the deepest I've ever heard your voice go.
That was a pretty weak accent from him. Just saying.
My voice isn't deep at all.
My voice doesn't go like that.
Sorry, bro.
It like squeaks a little bit when I get too low.
Right.
It
kind of trails off.
It is now 2021, and we are beginning our new season for the podcast.
Yep.
With that, we are doing the Patreon at a $2 minimum. If you would like to recommend us some content, we will definitely take it into consideration and do an episode for you,
Also, listen to all the bonus content.
as well as the bonus content.
I
Check
swear
out
we're
that
going to put more
merch.
stuff on there.
Check out the merch.
As well, get that swag.
Get yourself a sick ass
swag.
t-shirt.
But other than that, we should probably begin. This
Ooh, I'm
we-
excited for this.
we are
one.
leaving 2020 behind, and we're going to 2077 today.
Oh, we've all been playing this game.
Too much.
All right, but how many hours is everybody at right now for this game?
Between my two characters I've made, I'm at like 90 hours.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be about 90 with my two also.
90 over here.
Well, I have a job, so I'm just kidding. I'm at like 60, 70 hours of this game. It's a lot of time spent.
And that's the thing. This is a lot of game to go about.
Holy shit. Yeah, there's just so much. There's so many side missions you can do. You could just spend days just doing the side missions and not even progress the story, and you'd have a lot of fun because of all the missions and stories that they have there and all the stuff you can find and read about. There's a ridiculous amount of content you can read from the shards. A lot of cool backstory and lore.
I feel like honestly this game is more of the side missions than the main missions. Like the
Yeah.
main missions definitely progress what's available to you, but in the grand scheme of things, the main missions are relatively short.
Yeah,
compared
It's
to
it's
all
like
of
an
the side
8-hour
quests and
campaign.
missions you get. Yeah.
true. Yeah. If you went like just straight through it, it'd probably take you like 2, maybe 3 days
And
if you're cutting it up.
And you're missing out on like a whole, if you're just doing that, you're
Yeah.
missing out on a lot of cool upgrades and
Yeah.
interesting
Oh, yeah.
ways to progress and build.
And despite the side quests being side quests, they're actually pretty interesting and intricate. Like especially when you get more towards like the advanced side jobs and whatnot. Like they're pretty much their own storylines in and of
Yeah.
themselves.
Then
like,
they affect certain things.
yeah,
if
like
you
there's
help
the
someone
Judy
out.
side quest where
Yeah.
you take down an organization. There's also the River side quest where you go on a
Ooh.
mystery journey.
It's a really good investigator.
Yeah. Ooh, Daddy
Um,
River. You can romance him, by the way.
It's true.
If you have a female
But
build.
he's
Same
straight.
with Judy.
Well, here's what I wanted to ask. What builds are you guys running right now?
Well, the first character I made was a corpo character, and I didn't really know a whole lot about the attributes and whatnot when I started, so I was just upgrading random shit, so it's kind of all over the place, really. But my second build was way more focused. I put emphasis in intelligence and, what is the other one?
Reflexes.
Reflexes, yeah. So my character specifically is hack and slash, so I go in and hack my enemies, and then I swipe them down with my katana. It's a lot of fun. There's some pretty interesting hacks in there, let me say.
Did you go corpo for your second playthrough?
No, my second playthrough I did Street Kid,
Okay.
which I had a lot of fun with.
I've not done the Corpo one yet. I started with Street Kid and focused on rifles because I fell in love with the tech rifle I found,
Yeah.
which like auto locks onto someone's head or like any body part. So you kind of just shoot in their general area and it'll like curve around corners to hit them. So I did a lot into the reflexes and then into the body as well to get like all the armor for it. And then the second playthrough I did a nomad and they're focused on the blades. So a lot of same reflexes, but I did all the blade stuff instead. And it's a lot of fun to slash around with that and move really quickly
Right.
because you can like get bonus on your movement speed by dodging. Or every time you kill someone, you'll get your stats like refreshed, basically, or your your stamina. So it was totally worth it. Although you get cool responses as a street kid, like because you just
Yeah.
know shit about Night City. So I was like, I kind of liked that playthrough so far. I've only gotten up to like level 30, 31 or something like that.
You're at 30. I'm at 31.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you very much. I'm also at 50 street kid.
Yeah, for real.
That street cred.
I run
though.
these streets.
So much cred. Buy my new stuff.
I mean, at that point, don't you just have access to pretty much anything that the sellers can?
I mean, there's
Yes.
certain weapons that
Yeah.
you still need to have a certain actual level in
Yeah,
order to access.
your character
but
level.
Street cred will give you access to a lot of buyable content, and then side jobs you can only unlock when you get to a certain level of street cred.
True.
Also, you'll have extra dialogue options if you're a max street cred.
Yeah.
I did a mission where I was defending a little shop owner from some gangs, and they're like, "Hey, that's the person that fucking came back from the dead. We should get the fuck out of here."
Yeah,
Like they were talking about me in these streets.
I'm in these streets.
Mitch, what did you run?
So my first playthrough, I didn't know what I was doing because I wasn't
Same.
familiar with this setting very, very well. And so I ended up going, I was started off in reflexes, and then I was like, I don't really like gunplay too much. And then I just started stacking body points, and then just went max body and cool. And that was
Nice.
it. And then I was just this really skinny girl with gorilla arms.
Yes.
Like my way of dealing with things was I maxed out blunt weapons like crazy because they're super fun. And I found a legendary tire iron.
Yes.
And then that was the weapon of choice forever. So every mission was just, who needs stealth? Just walk
Just
in,
clubbing
start
to death.
whacking everyone.
Yes.
Yep.
My build, personally, I'm still on my first playthrough. I went with a street kid. I wanted to do intelligence because I figured out that it is the mage class. You basically
Pretty much.
you basically upload hacks on your enemies, and what really matters is the cyber deck, being able to refresh RAM. What I really love about it is finding access points to get extra money from just people's stashes.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's
And
great.
components for crafting too.
That
You
as
can
well.
get like at least $1,000 once you get to a certain level every time you hack something.
That's the thing, like these little mini games. It's like I didn't even try, and I got 2,000 eddies. Thanks for your life savings, bud.
Yeah, right.
I've been doing that, and I tried reflexes because I like the mantis blades. Got the gorilla arms for the boxing matches. Found out I like punching people in the face because it doesn't kill them. And so I'm doing non-lethal stuff, and then I go around with a silenced gun and start killing them afterwards to get more points.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
So I've been doing that. So body and intelligence for me. But we should talk about like a little bit of the backstory behind the game and everything that like surrounded it. So I'm gonna go off on that. It was produced by CD Projekt Red. They are a company from Warsaw, Poland. They are mostly known for doing the Witcher series.
And they're also getting sued.
They're in a lot of
Supposedly.
controversy.
People are just saying they were mad because they didn't run on an old system from like 6 years ago. Get over it.
Gamers are so needy.
You stupid.
Like,
Buy
just
it
get a
on-
better system.
Yeah, get the newer system or play it on PC and stop being dumb.
Like that's the thing. Like they just released new systems
Yeah.
optimized for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you gonna expect 7 different ports of a game to work perfectly?
Yeah.
But because of that, it was due to release in April of 2020. Got pushed to September, November, and then finally we got our baby of a game on December 10th, 2020. Just a couple weeks old. The Cyberpunk name is based off of the TTRPG Cyberpunk 2020 by Mike Pondsmith, who made it in 1988. It was later distributed by TSR, who is known for publishing D&D stuff. And they would eventually make a card game by Wizards of the Coast called Netrunner, which was based off of 2020.
Nice.
He basically worked hand in hand with CD Projekt Red to make his vision come alive for Cyberpunk 2077. So the creator of the world and the story basically hand in hand, because he's written all the rule books, all the handbooks, all the guides for corpo stuff, vehicles, guns. Basically, this is his baby, so he's going to give it the treatment. I think CD Projekt Red did it well.
Oh, and if you've never seen Mike Pondsmith, he is an older black man with like white hair, basically.
Yep.
So he's a dope fucking person.
Right. He also does a lot of things where he plays the game online.
Yeah, he totally streams himself playing his own game that he made,
Which is pretty
is like
sweet.
such a flex on people.
OG.
When he was making the game, he cites Blade Runner, Neuromancer by William Gibson. It's a novel. Terminator and Akira as influence for his world and love for the genre. The TTRPG was...
Can't you get like an Akira bike in the
Yes.
game? Yeah, it's totally a thing you buy from, I think, Wakako sells it
Yeah,
too.
I have it for both of my
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah, it's
Hell
really
yeah.
fun.
It's a great bike.
Yeah.
The TTRPG was then re-released in 2020 under the name Cyberpunk Red.
Nice.
and it was made to simplify the rules in the original 2020 version. Basically, combat and net running were their own separate things. They're very complicated systems, so they took the time to flesh it out and make it very easy, like 5th edition D&D. And it remains sold out as of November 2020.
Nice.
So core rulebook can't get, but you can get a box set as of right now.
Ooh, how much is it?
It is about $30.
Oh, well,
You
I'll
get-
totally buy that.
Yeah, you
That
get a lot
sounds
of
dope.
good stuff.
Hell yeah.
Get a good amount of character minis, not minis, but like little stand-ins.
Right.
Get some dice, get the rule book, character sheets, everything you need to basically make a
I
campaign.
think it's a D10, D6 system too. It doesn't use
Yep.
the D20 model.
Oh,
Two
alright.
D10s, 4 D6s.
Yep.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's just a little bit backstory about the game.
It was
Cyberpunk
pretty
has-
fleshed out before it even got into like being a video game.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it wasn't like they were taking really small thing and turning it into something, but they made something that was already big even bigger with all of the lore they've added in. I can't imagine how much work went into writing all of those shards that you like don't ever read, or you like try to sit and read through them. You're like, this is so much content.
No, yeah, that's the thing about this game is detail.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
not only is the
incredible
map
amount of
and the
detail.
city so layered and detailed, but there's a bunch of little hidden Easter eggs, whether
Yeah.
they're in the shards or things you might find around inside missions.
Especially inside of the city. I do have
Yeah.
to say, once you get out into the Badlands and other areas, it is kind of remote. There really isn't that much out there, but maybe they'll fill it in like in the future, or it's just meant to be that way.
I think it's just supposed to be open road
Yeah.
for the Badlands.
Right.
Yeah, it's
It-
the backcountry.
It's
Yeah,
the
it's where all the
nomad
Hicks
life.
live.
Yeah. It's Hicktown.
They even say it in the game, which
Yep.
also makes me think of how I really like their like made up words for the game,
Choom.
where they're calling their friends chooms or like
Gonk.
gonks.
So
Don't be so gonk, bro.
Yeah.
Choom is supposed to be a play on words of chum.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
That's fair. That's not too far off. It just reminds me of like when they made like basically their own language for like A Clockwork Orange or something.
Yeah.
They just made their own language and like things that happen. They have like shortened versions of what their stuff is.
You're such an idiot. Oh, you mean a gonk.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that board.
They came up with new shit. They have like brain dances as a
Yes.
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
They're very
That's
So
tight.
I appreciated that, putting those elements into the game. So like you feel like you're joining their world by learning all of these things. Then you hear someone else say it and you understand what they're saying.
What defines something as cyberpunk?
I don't know if there's like an official like rules of like what would be, but usually it involves some sort of futuristic, mostly apocalyptic, and always includes technology. You'll usually have it like installed in yourself, or the technology is really heavily integrated into your life. That's usually like what cyberpunk is.
Yeah, I feel like definitely cyber
And
goes
like
into it because
yeah.
obviously like futuristic tech is very involved in everything, and then the aspect of punk I feel like is more of a societal thing, is it's people going against some sort of big system,
Yeah.
rebelling against some sort of order.
in this case, it's the corporations.
Yeah.
So it's like they're very much a reflection of like the worst possible scenario of your future, where the corporations run everything.
I mean, that is how it is now. I feel like in this universe, though, people are much more aware of it, and it's much more
Right.
prevalent in your face.
Yeah. Also, mercenary work is totally legal.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
a solo for the
I
job.
mean, this is
Yeah.
this is an example of a dystopian game.
It's basically
essentially.
Blade Runner.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. They didn't quite put like replicants in there yet, I don't
Right.
think. So that's kind of like a little bit different.
That's
but yeah,
true.
but it's basically like Cyberpunk to me is basically like either you have internal cybernetic enhancements on people, so you have the fear of, you know, you have like a fear of like meshing flesh with technology, and how does that change people?
I love that. I love that they included stuff about that.
Yeah, no, exactly, but exactly, but it shows like the duality of that. Like
Right.
there are good and there
Yeah.
are bad. Like there are good and bad things that come with that. Corporate rule is like corporate espionage, things like that are
Yeah.
always in like a cyberpunk sort of setting. It's always going to be dystopian. Everything's going to be fucking gross and shitty all the time.
Yeah, Night City is grimy
I mean,
unless
they
you're
have
in
fucking,
certain
like,
parts.
street doctors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ripper
Ripper docs
docs.
are just doctors on the streets that are just like
And these grimy little cubby holes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
always.
Clinic.
What I got to say about the world is it's very interesting to go into a town and see 3 different layers, the top, middle, and bottom layer
Yeah.
of a section of town. You'll be on the top, you'll see like skylines, very nice,
Yeah.
posh.
Oh yeah,
very-
this is also
very
the class
clean stuff.
system at its extreme.
Mm-hmm.
You go to
Yeah.
like certain places where they have like the Valentinos, which is supposed to be like the futuristic Chicano style people.
Reminds me
and
of East
it's-
LA.
Yeah, it's East LA basically.
Yeah.
Or you go to like Japantown
Mm-hmm.
and you see like all of like the rundown area that they're living in, which could be equivalent to like going to Little Tokyo or Chinatown, like in Los Angeles as well. So it's
Yeah.
like you see that, and then you go into like the nicer part where they have all the nice houses on the hill. They even have nicer cars driving around
Yeah,
there.
Night
Yeah.
City is definitely like a modern version of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I think they even say that they are in California at some
Yeah,
point.
they do.
And I kind of got that vibe when I went out into the Badlands and there's all of those Joshua trees. So I automatically
True.
thought this is Joshua Tree area. And what's next to Joshua Tree? Los Angeles.
This
Yep,
particular
exactly.
Night City, because like according to your tabletop RPG and stuff, like Night City can be literally wherever you want it to be, or it can be set up however you want it. It's a custom thing.
This particular Night City, though, the one that is in the lore, is in between San Francisco and Los Angeles.
Oh,
Interesting.
nice.
Yeah, so that's why you'll see a lot of like relations to all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
It reflects the culture really well here
Yeah.
as well, the mixture.
Definitely.
So, cyberware.
Ooh, this is
That's a
fun
big
one.
topic.
It is a big topic because you're having like physical changes to the body, and you can see it whenever you're looking at characters.
Right.
Sometimes they have like their whole eyes and like forehead replaced in some cases,
Or
and
their whole jaw
yeah.
is off.
yeah, there's just like a lot of weird stuff they can do, or it's more of like decorative, like they'll have like gold plates on them or like lines or kind of like it's not a tattoo, but it's definitely like an insert.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a whole bunch of stuff.
I think when I was starting the game, like first day, I was just scanning people because you get uploaded with like
Right.
a police file report
Yeah.
for every person in Night
It's like
City.
the Karoshi optics.
Dude, they
The
named
Kuroshi optic.
every single
That's
person.
the thing. That's
Yeah.
what was really awesome. She's like, "What are you? Oh, you're Victor, like fucking this guy.
It's nuts. I
You're-
didn't see any repeats either.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
like Dennis, this guy. You know." I thought that was very interesting.
That's funny. I totally did the same shit. I was like
Right.
running around scanning people. Like, what do they do?
Oh, you're Fred. Okay. But cyberware is a very big thing. There's a big controversy within the game as well. Like some people do not want to ruin their body with cyberware, and it's even reflected in the monk mission, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
did that one with my first character, and it was against the religion to have cyberware inserted into them because it's like impurifying the body.
Yeah, that makes sense. It aligns a lot with certain religions where they don't want to modify their body in any way. So I could see that carrying on into the future where they wouldn't want these cybernetic enhancements because it would somehow make them incomplete, or it would be like you said, desecrating some sort of part of their body.
Right, and that's the thing. When you're looking at the implants that you could get yourself, you could get basically everything: head,
Right.
eyes, forearms, legs,
Circulatory system,
like cardiovascular systems, immune systems.
immune system too, and they all have special effects that relate to combat usually.
Yeah, although with your character, I don't see too much being changed besides maybe your arms. Like
Yeah,
as
like
far
physically?
as far as like physical changes, like the way you look, they kept it pretty tame for your character. But you see some wild stuff with other characters.
Like the Maelstrom gang. they're
yeah,
just
his
fucking,
whole
like
fucking
Borged out
part of his head is
metal
missing.
heads.
Yeah.
And he just has like these 3 lenses as his eyes.
Well, what I wanted to bring up was the thing about cyberpsychosis. So in the original game, if you had all decked out cyberware, you would go under something called cyberpsychosis, which is
Right.
in the game 2077. But you would lose your character sheet. The DM would take your character sheet, rip it, or make it an NPC.
Oh,
Basically,
dang.
you lose yourself to cyberpsychosis. Your humanity and empathy levels are so low that you do not care about human life. So I feel like that's a big thing about why we don't really like Maelstrom, is because they just really just give a fuck about themselves.
So is this kind of like what happened to what's his name, Adam Smasher, the guy who's
Yeah.
basically just a cyborg at this point?
Yeah. I mean, he has a job, defend, Arasaka.
Right.
But that's
I feel like
about
he's
it.
gotten like programmed.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
basically just like their bodyguard at this point, nothing
Mhm.
else.
But yeah,
I mean, he always has been, even the beginning when you have the Johnny mission, which I think was in 2023.
Yeah,
And he gets taken down by Adam Smasher, who is a bodyguard for Arasaka.
can't wait to kill that fucker.
And then you see him again in the future in 2077, where he's, what is it, Yorinobu's
yeah,
bodyguard.
exactly.
huge chromed out fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, your intro to him is pretty fucked up too, because
Yeah.
you walk in. Well, you're in like the brain dance with
Evelyn.
with
Evelyn
Evelyn,
Parker.
and he's just like commenting on her, and I was like, oh fuck, this is like serious. Who is this guy?
Yeah, he was like, I would fuck you like a piece of meat or some shit
No,
too.
he
You
was
look
like,
like
you-
a piece of fuckable meat.
Yeah, that one.
Yikes. Yeah, you're like, whoa, who the fuck is this
Like,
guy?
You're like, oh no.
While he just stomps away.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, that was pretty nuts. But also, this is where you can find a secret sword. on that mission.
Yeah, I got that.
Is it Satori? I think is the blade you can get, and
Yeah.
it belongs
as, well as the iconic pistol.
Yeah, the pistol that's like
Yeah.
on his bed nightstand. So secret weapon. I'm sure we'll mention stuff like that every now and again. Just be like, this is where you can find this.
Yeah, definitely something I learned is you should go to YouTube and see everybody's information.
So
on
much
it.
hidden content.
There's so much stuff that you will probably miss when you play through it just as is. It's good to go and do your research about everything and know where to find things because there's some really interesting things you might miss in normal gameplay.
Definitely.
It's a world
I missed
full
stuff
of
just on that first play.
Yeah.
Like going through the first one, and then you were telling me about these videos because you love watching the YouTube videos for it. And Justine found out a whole bunch of information, and I was like, I got to watch it too. And when I went back and started like paying closer attention, like going to every room, opening every door, opening every box, you'll find a lot of cool shit and a lot of good upgrades. You don't want to go through and just run through it.
Yeah.
Right. This is one of those things. You just got to take your time with it.
Yeah,
if you
there's
run
no
through
rush.
it, you're not going to have a good time.
There really isn't a rush. Even when they tell you there's a rush, there's no rush. Like, I don't think there's a time limit on anything.
The only thing there's ever time limit on is if you're following somebody.
Right.
Because if you get too
you
far
can fail a
behind,
mission,
you could
yeah.
fail a mission. But
Excuse me.
Go
Sorry.
for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
There is Barry, the depressed police officer who's your neighbor.
Oh
True.
man,
Yeah,
I
that
failed
is
that one
time-
twice.
Yeah, I failed it. I failed it my first time too. If you don't go talk to him and like try to be buddy with him, he will commit suicide.
Yeah.
In the
Ooh.
end, like you actually have to interact with him, and if you don't, and you take too many days not talking to him, he ends up offing himself.
I was also very mad I couldn't save Evelyn.
Yeah.
I was like, come on. After all this work, like, this is what happens. But you get to kill all these dudes afterwards with Judy. So it's
Yeah.
you get to make up for it at some point. You basically
Ah.
hunt down sex traffickers.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah,
There's-
it's time to fucking roast these
See,
dudes.
every time that we talk about something, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good point to bring up, too.
There's
Oh,
a lot of shit. We can't even cover it in
I-
like one
Yeah.
I
episode.
guess we could probably start with gangs.
let's
Let's try to section it.
yeah, there you go.
Gangs. All right. Favorite, least favorite.
Oh man.
I personally really like the Tiger Claws because I like their style.
Nice.
They're into a lot of shady shit as far as business goes, but they look fucking cool doing it. Just saying.
Where are they usually located? Like what's their
There's some
their
that are
area?
in Haywood. There's also they're mostly in Japantown.
Got it.
On the eastern side of the city.
Yeah. I
And
feel like
then-
you encounter them pretty early on too.
Yeah, they're one of the first gangs you
Yeah.
find.
You fuck up a lot of
I
Tiger
think the
Claws.
first one you really get into is Maelstrom. With
Yeah.
the first mission where you're getting your little
What a
robot.
bunch of assholes.
Yeah, that's my least favorite gang is Maelstrom because they remind me of like just a bunch of fucking mess heads.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, other than that, the Sixth Street Gang is probably my least favorite, next
a
to
bunch of
Maelstrom.
fucking douchey ass vets.
Yeah, all the Chads who are just like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're veterans, we're the
America.
best.
Well, my favorite
America.
part about that is they all just blast the Dad Rock radio station.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah, my favorite though is the Valentinos.
Yes.
They're
Yo,
fucking
the
dope.
Valentinos are dope. They're the most OP gang.
Do you
in
know what their
this.
goal is
Huh.
in Night City? Is just to find attractive women and steal them away from their men or whoever they're with.
Right
Their
on.
goal is only to meet hot women and talk to them.
And fucking deck out their cars.
Yeah, and all they do is deck out their cars. They have gold weapons, gold cybernetics.
They have some really great weapons, but
Yeah.
they're also probably one of the most difficult gangs to
Yeah,
fight.
they're tough as hell.
I did maybe like 2 missions with them, and I had to headshot them with a snipe like fucking 3 or 4 times
Yeah,
to
it's
actually
kinda
kill
nuts.
them. And they kept one shot killing me. I'm like, bro, what
Dang.
weapons are you
What I
using?
think is really crazy is they are not really borged out. You try to hack one into one of them, they're not going to have
Yeah.
cyberware.
They
No.
don't have cybernetics.
Yeah, they're mostly just for decorative purposes. They're not really
Right.
doing it for like enhancements. It's a lot of cool shit. What-
So like the hardest people in the game are people that wear knee-high socks and fucking chinos. And like
Yes.
it's fucking awesome.
Oh, here it is. Their purpose is to seduce the most beautiful women in Night City. That is their goal.
What a wholesome
They
goal.
have
Yeah.
no other goal besides that. And the way they do this is by your typical things of robbery, doing the prostitution. My least favorite is probably Maelstrom or the vets who are just all about America.
Yeah.
I've killed a bunch of them because I was like, just give me your weapons. I don't want anything else. Because they have a lot of nice tech rifles.
They do.
They're
They really like the
focused
smart
on that.
rifles.
Yeah.
I did have to do a mission where I had to do a drinking contest /
Oh, I
shooting.
did
deal.
that
Hell yeah,
one.
that shit's hard.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, don't even look at the targets. Hit the vodka first.
You're like, God
"Fuck."
damn it.
I was lit off of that mission.
Right.
So I actually really like the Maelstroms just 'cause I like their design. and whatnot, just like how they look.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
their whole and then they're always listening to black metal all the time. So I'm
They
just
are
that's
actually.
every
Yeah.
time you walk in there, they're
Yeah.
always like on that ritual station.
This
like,
is
let's
They're
true.
go.
metalheads, and they're literally the most borged out group that you'll find.
I'm a sucker for this shit. So yeah, and I know that they're terrible and awful, and I do enjoy killing them because you can shock them to death, and they're very susceptible to that.
Yeah. I mean, every gang sort of has like their morals.
Yeah.
Like what they're going to be involved with.
Mhm.
And it's like Valentinos are not going to be involved with like sex trafficking or like murdering children and doing shit like that. Whereas you have like the Maelstrom who are cool with that. And then there's another gang that just does
Tiger
everything.
Claws.
Tiger Claws do whatever.
Yeah.
They will like sell their own mom if it gets them some money.
I think Tiger Claws were modeled after the Yakuza.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe just a little bit less honor.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah,
blow up
definitely.
Tiger Claws every time I see
Yeah,
them.
they're
'Cause
pretty
always
awful.
mean to other people all the time. They're always in some shit going
They're
on
always
down there.
bullying somebody
Yeah,
too.
exactly. I'm like, hey, stop bullying that person.
Oh my
What the
God.
fuck? You guys, come on now.
That's a dope aspect though. I love walking up and interrupting a crime and being
Right.
like, "You're
Yeah.
not doing shit." Just
Yeah.
like fucking kill all of them.
Thanks for
Yeah.
that fucking NCPD money.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
real.
That's another.
And the
cool
cops pay
thing,
you.
Is the cops in this game?
Do not fuck.
Don't fight the cops because they will fucking kill you.
They are overpowered.
They're way too overpowered.
It's all about the paramedics, like the call-in paramedics. Those are the scariest fucking. They
Yeah.
show up. They're like, all right, drop the fucking body because we're not here for you. And you get anywhere near us, we're gonna fucking shoot your ass.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. And you can call
They're like,
your other-
stand 6 feet back, and they fucking push you over, gun
Yeah.
in your face.
Yeah.
like,
And you're
yeah.
like, this is some real
And, like,
shit.
These are doctors.
Well, it's not even.
These are the
the
doctors.
worst part about it though is finding out that they're only doing this because they have a platinum insurance
Oh
card.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that insurance plan is crazy. This is like the epitome of having too much money. You like are guaranteed this service that they'll come find you, kill anybody who's in their way, so that they can save you and bring you back. It's like one of the first missions you find out about that.
It's a better version of the cops, in my opinion.
Right. Oh yeah. This is like cops you actually want to have.
Yeah.
Did you have a least favorite gang?
Least favorite, probably also Street 6, just because they're boring.
They are kind of
They're
boring.
just
Yeah.
boring. You're like, all right, we get it. You get them. Like Maelstrom at least is like cool looking and has like crazy metal parts and shit, and they at least have something going on, which is why I don't like hate them all that much. And all the other gangs are all super cool. I love the Valentinos. The Valentinos are awesome.
Yeah.
They're super fun to interact with.
The one thing I'll give 6th Street, though, is that they are trying to stop the spread of cyberpsychosis. Because there's a
Yeah.
mission where they actually are trying to receive medicine in order to give to people that have cyberpsychosis.
That was such a strong like allusion to how veterans are always trying to get help for the veterans who need mental help, like people who need to go and speak with someone about it. And like that always is a thing for soldiers and like veterans. They need the help, but they never get it.
It was very sad too because you do these cyberpsychosis missions. It's different for every area of the map, but
Right.
you would find a veteran who was literally looking for medicine to help himself,
Yeah.
and then they would just deny him it because insurance
Yep.
or something like that. And so they go crazy and they want to go and I mean, in some missions, even kill their whole family.
Oh yeah. You get the cyber psychos
Yep.
This
who are just like completely lost in whatever they're doing.
I mean, this is also an allusion to the problems with the class system as well.
Right, yeah.
As well. So like only the specialist, most richest of folks get the platinum insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I will say my favorite gang for sure is the animals.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
roided out
I-
dudes.
I love the idea of a gang just being like, you know what? Just want to get fit.
Dude.
Just want to get fit.
I just want to take roids.
like
I just
I'm
want
just
to lift, bro.
just want to eat tacos and fucking
Oh
live.
my god, dude. One of those missions, I saw like the beefiest lady I've ever seen. I was like, holy shit. She ran up and just punched me. She didn't
Knocked
even
your
have a
ass
weapon in her
over.
hand. She just punched me.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
That's the thing about the animals too, is they usually don't use cybernetics.
No.
They just get really fucking fit and beat on everybody.
Yeah.
What was
Big
really
hammers.
Also
all the
hammers, yeah.
time.
what was really scary was I scanned this guy. He did a fucking amazing like super jump. I scanned him. No fucking cybernetics. In
Oh,
him.
you're like,
I
you're
was
just
like,
very
you're just
strong.
fucking really fucking.
You
Least
just jump.
least
Oh my
favorite
God.
though, scavs.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
The-
fuck the scab.
The idea of hey, fucking kidnap that person. We're gonna rip them open, leave them on ice, and take their fucking goods and sell
Also,
those
regularly
goods.
kidnap children.
Yeah.
Which yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, you're like, what the hell?
The Sandra Dorset mission, which we were talking about with the insurance policy, you could actually get caught by scavs and go back there, and you are naked in a tub,
Damn.
and they have all your shit, and you have to fight your way out of there.
Sandra Dorset is the one who's like very sketchy, right? You have to bring her like a data bank.
Yeah.
Oh, I killed her right after that.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, fuck that girl.
Well,
I wanted what she had in her apartment, so I was like, maybe you have a cool drop, and she didn't. So I was like, oh, all right. But she's also rich as fuck, so I don't care.
All I gotta say though is there's a lot to it, like with these fucking high up people in corpos.
Yeah.
They're always super sketched out and they want to do things, but because they're in a corporate or political piece of like thing, I don't know. You meet a character
Dude,
named
that's like
Elizabeth.
that couple you meet who keeps giving you jobs. They
Oh,
keep
yeah.
giving me the vibe of like, yeah, the couple wants to fuck you. They want to fuck your character. And you're like, why is this like this?
It's a. Have you finished the mission?
No.
Oh God.
Did you do the second mission?
I
with
didn't do the
them?
second one
Oh
yet.
my God,
Yeah.
that's
That one's
insane.
Yeah, that one's pretty crazy.
And it
'Cause
really. Oh my God.
What was interesting about that mission is that they got into the concept of rogue AIs, because something they mentioned
Oh,
throughout the
shit.
game is an AI war that happened several years ago where a bunch of rogue AIs tried to take down civilization, basically.
So
And
basically,
they managed to lock them away in behind something called the Black Wall, which we'll get into later.
Oh
in the
yeah,
game.
the Voodoo Boys are very into figuring out what that is and trying to
Yeah.
like get in.
Net
Yeah,
runners who are still plugged in and lost in the net and can't unplug
Yeah.
or they will die.
Yeah.
I really like that aspect that they brought in where they're like, we're gonna get taken over by AI, so we just want to join.
Yeah.
And they're trying to find a way through the wall.
In the second mission with the political couple, I think you're talking of Johnny, who we'll get to Johnny in a second,
I
because that's
fucking
a
love Johnny.
That's a
awesome
whole
character.
can
That's a
of
whole
worms.
You hate him, but
person.
you love that character.
But he was suggesting that this entity that you're battling might actually be a group of rogue AIs that are trying to control people in order to bring themselves
Fuck.
back into power.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah.
And if you go through the mission, you will find some very haunting things. And I legit feel scared.
Oh dang!
And if you have an option to tell a character and like notify of them, you'll get a fucking sketchy ass phone call.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. My hair was standing
Oh
up.
my
I
God.
literally felt like I was looking at my window. I was like checking my phone. I was like, God, this is just
right,
a
get a
game.
weird text. You're like, oh god.
So are they listening to me right
And
now?
then after that, after you notify them, they're like, all right, we don't need you for the job. They block both your numbers.
Yeah.
And so you're left to your imagination of what has happened to them.
I feel like the only moment I got like that was when I did the mission with River to find the guy who was just putting kids on like I don't know what it was. It was like pulling stuff out of them.
It was like a preservation sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where they're in a comatose state and they're being preserved by hormones and whatnot being pumped
Right.
into their body, antibiotics.
You gotta like
It's similar to livestock, is what they would do with
Right.
cows, but he's doing this in this
that
case
was
to
fucked.
children.
Just all the kids in there, and then you had to
Yeah.
go through like his fucked up childhood where his dad was just beating on him. You're like, this is so disturbing.
yeah.
I think the worst part about it was if you could hack into the computer of the kid that got captured, you find their text messages. And
Yeah.
it reminds me of like that like dating stuff. Like
They like lure kids to come hang out with
kids to
them.
It's
come out
alluding to the
shit.
concept of cyber abduction, basically.
Yep.
You talk to a stranger online, you get a little too comfortable, you finally go to meet them in person, and they abduct you and happen to put you on some sort of life preservation system.
That was a really good mission. I didn't want to fuck River after though.
I'm
I
just saying,
did.
the river sex scene is probably one of the better sex scenes in this game.
Yeah, the one Johnny has with his girlfriend, or I don't know what they are,
Alt Cunningham.
is so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It happens in like a green room after he does a show, and it's like it's all filthy, and it's not even like a good-ish sex scene.
They,
You're
like-
just like, this is really
They like
bad.
slap each other and like throw like fucking vodka on each
yeah,
other.
he like pours vodka on her
Yeah,
tits, and you're
yeah.
like, what the fuck?
I think that was kind of the point of that one. Is just
Yeah,
that
it's just meant
Johnny's
to
sort of
be-
a dirty boy.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about fucking Keanu
Oh my
Reeves
God.
as Johnny Silverhand.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've never seen him play a dirtbag. Like
Yeah.
he's usually a very like
Well,
good,
except
honorable
in Neon
character.
Demon, he played a dirtbag.
That's true. He
Yep.
did.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. All right, so this is the second time I've seen him do it, and
But
it was
he plays a
yeah.
really good dirtbag. Let's
Yeah,
talk a little bit
honestly.
about Johnny.
Room 14 got to be seen.
Oh, fuck out of
You
here.
remember that? Okay, Johnny, love him. Also hate him.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to be nice to him.
I just want to be nice to him to get his gun and his car. That's the only reason I'm nice to him.
Well,
Otherwise, I'd be
don't
like,
guys.
fuck
Pants.
off.
It's all about finding his pants.
You find
can
a
find his
very
pants?
you
You
find a
all
very
of his clothes.
Oh my
you find
His
a
clothes are
very
honestly really
obsessed
dope.
fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you could go through and be like, when was this concert? He's like, oh, I was so coked out at that one. Because he has like posters of like past
Oh, you're talking about
concerts.
the old dude who sells you like the album?
No. You find a super fan who wanted Carrie's guitar.
Oh,
And
wow.
like Johnny was like, Carrie, why would you want that cocksucker's guitar, not mine?
I love how offended he is when people don't like him. He's like your classic narcissist kind of character. He just wants to do things for himself. Although he does have moments where he seems to be kind of nice to you, but it's still not believable.
Hey, here's the thing. He did the thing, though. He did the thing. Like, he was like, I fucking hate Arasaka. Nukes Arasaka. Like,
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
also
He
killed
goes a
like
step
how many people?
12 million.
Yeah, so it's
But
like
he went a step beyond. I'll give him that. He did the thing.
he's basically a terrorist.
He
So
is a terrorist.
it's like, oh, like I get what you were trying to do, but you could have just blown up the building.
He is the cyberpunk.
Yeah,
that's true.
he's the epitome of cyberpunk.
Yeah, he
he's
literally
literally a
is.
punk musician.
Yep.
Right.
Also very anti-corpo, anti-government, to the point where he would kill millions of people to make that point and statement.
Right.
Yeah, and-
but Samurai's fucking
And
dope.
also, he's cyber.
They actually have a Spotify page, just
Yeah.
saying.
He's in the cyberverse, so he is literally. Yep, we got there. We know it. Yep.
You come across a shard that is a soul shard. Basically, makes it so you preserve a person's soul and like life into it. The concept is you slot it in, and your body is taken over by the past life.
Yeah, it's typically supposed to be done in a deceased body that no longer has brain function, so then that shard would take over their brain function. However, in this game, it doesn't quite go that way, and you end up with Johnny Silverhand in your head for most of the game,
Yep.
which is honestly a pretty fun sidekick to have.
One of the
Yeah.
I mean, if you keep him around to do side missions, he'll give you little tips and stuff. Like
Right.
you'll be like, V, don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
Or he's like, V, this sounds amazing.
He does stop you from doing a lot, which is kind of surprising to me sometimes. I'm like, what do you mean I can't just shoot this guy in the face?
Yeah.
He's like, you should probably listen to what he has to say. I'm like, God damn it. All right.
I think one of my favorite parts is when you meet Hellman, and he's like, I have a question for you. Does the AI ever make it so you change your decisions on things? And I'm sitting here like, Johnny does talk to me a lot, and I do take
Yeah,
his point into
right.
consideration. I was like, no, question mark.
I especially liked when he takes over your body and just goes on a fucking bender.
Yeah.
Do whatever he
You'll
wants.
see that in the tapeworm mission. It's
so
really fun.
great. Because he's you, so depending on what you look like, he's taking your body out and doing like a whole bunch of drinking.
Just debauchery.
You know
in
what? He gets
general.
the job done though. He figures
Yeah.
out like the next steps.
He has his own method.
Yeah,
A method of
so
madness.
that was hilarious to watch because you're basically just a passenger.
So the throwback mission where you're trying to find Alt Cunningham
Right.
in that, it was so Cyberpunk 2020, like the TTRPG. You got a nomad with you, looking all dirty.
Yeah.
You are a rocker boy. You are Johnny Silverhand. You got Netrunner with you,
Yeah.
Rogue, and then you have fucking Media with you, which was awesome to fucking see because Media is a class in the game, as well as you could be a cop or a corpo within the original game.
Oh,
But
gotcha.
seeing your fourth member shoot people and have a head cam on, that like I got so much nostalgia right there. The game is a parody of like the current world,
Right.
but often it feels a little too real. There are a lot of connections that are very scary.
Yeah.
How do we feel about the sex work and the mercenary work in the game?
So it's cool as fuck that it's all legal.
Yep.
Because it makes sense for it to be legal, especially in regards to the sex work. It's always been a weird thing to me that it's not legal. Because if it's legal and you actually have like things in place to make sure everyone is okay, then it's going to run as a regular business. The only reason why people are in such danger is because it's always done like in a back alley where they don't have any protections. So people constantly would kidnap them, kill them, or like end up just doing all these horrible things like sex trafficking.
I think that the brain dances that they put in there are a direct, blockage to protecting people because they're just
Right.
videos of the person you're into, and then you just sort of get all of the feeling.
Yeah.
from
Yeah, videos plus
interacting with them.
sensations. So why
Yeah.
would you really need to go out
Where-
and
You
meet
don't
even
somebody
need
when you
people
can
anymore.
just plug into your little brain wreath?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I find interesting about the brain dances is you find these people who sell them and then people who consume them. I think one of my favorite was a guy who's like, I want some real dark shit.
Well, you also got brain dances of straight up murder.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
those
like
are
that's like the
XPs.
super
That's
dark
the thing.
part
He's
of
like,
it.
I want to fucking kill someone in a brain dance. And he's
Yeah.
like, I got the right stuff for you, man.
Like seeing that guy get his head fucking torched was really
Yeah.
aggressive. You're like, he has one of his cybernetics just like overloaded and his whole fucking head melts.
Yeah,
You're
that
just
was
like, this
honestly
is
like one of the
disturbing.
most disturbing
Yeah.
brain dances I had watched. Like I had to take a moment and like step away for a sec.
Also, one of the scary things too is that if you have like the doll implant, you end up just like your body is taken over. So it's
Yeah.
like that is also another, and they don't remember it. So it's
yeah,
like,
it's like a sort of state of psychosis.
yeah. So that's the other added element that's kind of fucked up. But as far as like mercenary work, I don't see why it can't be legal.
The thing I found interesting about mercenary work is there's actually, if you listen to the radio, they'll have the radio announcer going through news sometimes, and you mentioned something about mercenary work is that crime is so overrun in the city that the cops just don't have the extended force to be able to take care of everything.
It's basically Judge Dredd.
Yeah, so they implement mercenaries in order to take care of the work that they can't get to, which is why it's legal for you to go around and just fuck up whatever gang you see on the street.
I found an amazing thing that relates to that. So on the TV, they talked to the NCPD chief of.
Yeah.
I
They
love
say
that.
crime's down 700%. And they're like, what? How? And then I found a shard that said that guy actually took Pacifica off of their jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you're basically getting cheated out by even the cops.
And it's interesting as they talk about political matters too, is that they take Pacifica off of they list them as an independent state basically, so their votes don't count in the election, which is interesting because Pacifica is traditionally like a place for people of color.
Yep.
That's what you'll find.
They don't like the black people in this
Yeah.
game.
Nope.
And I think that alludes a lot to how our politics are today, is that a lot of times counties and cities where there's majority people of color, they'll try to prevent them from voting.
Make it
Yeah,
very much harder.
pretty
Make
much.
it very difficult.
Yeah, they're convinced that all of them are involved in some way or another with the crimes.
Mhm.
But at this point, they're cut off from the rest of the city, so they don't really get any support from
Yeah.
anybody. So they kind of had to make their own.
Cops don't go around there.
Yeah, there's no cops in there when you go into Pacifica. They usually are not around there. But if you attack one of the voodoo boys, everyone nearby will try to kill you.
I also like that they're the most OP net runners in the game.
They are really good.
Like, they are the hackers.
There's a story reason for that, though.
Yeah.
They're trying to be more connected with the AI that might possibly take over your whole world.
Mm-hmm.
But that's later in the game.
Arasaka is a big one. Militech is a big one as well.
Oh, fuck
And-
Militech. I kill those dudes every time I see them.
They're basically armored force that you could buy.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
But I did do a side mission where Arasaka hired Valentinos to attack Arasaka buildings
Whoa.
with Militech equipment and gear.
What the
So
hell?
they could stage a political
Oh,
fiasco so they
gotcha.
could start another war.
That sounds like something a government would do nowadays, honestly.
That's the thing.
Some
Corpos
Black
rule
Ops
everything.
mission.
Yeah, I feel like Arasaka is very representative of the top 1%. They're like the Rothschilds and the fucking
Oh,
Rockefellers
dang.
mixed
Yeah.
into one.
That's true. How old was the head of the Arasaka company when didn't they say he was like over 100?
Yeah,
Like 200
because
years?
he's already
Yeah.
ancient when you see him in the
So
first
old.
Johnny play, which was in 2023, and then you see him again in 2077, looking just as old. He's well over.
Can't believe he
100.
gets choked out by his son.
Yeah,
Fucking whack.
and you're just fucking watching it, but spoiler.
I mean, it's the first mission.
Another
You'll be,
spoiler?
yeah.
Rest in peace, Jackie.
yeah.
Oh no,
Man, I haven't cried in front of a fucking computer screen in a long time
That was-
playing a
that
game,
was the
but holy
saddest
shit.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I haven't played the Corpo playthrough yet, but I feel like the Street Kid's the one that aligns with and like
Yeah.
melds into Jackie's storyline a lot better than all the
Yeah,
other
it makes
ones do.
sense.
It makes the most sense, and it just like you feel like pals, sort of, instead of
Yeah.
just
Well,
two
because he's
mercs.
connected with the Valentinos, which is like in Haywood.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that the Street Kid one would make sense for all of that.
If you attend his
So, yeah,
funeral,
you're right.
it's a very
Oh my
emotional
God,
thing.
dude.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
very emotional.
You can get up and say something too if you want.
But also another side thing is depending on where you put Jackie's body, you might not be able to experience the funeral,
Right.
which I found out in the first gameplay because I sent it to a certain person, and
But
then,
he might get brought back at some point.
and Arasaka took the body, but they also alluded to the fact that he might be brought back because his engram, his
Yeah.
personality was saved, and then you send it to another person, then you get the funeral, you get the real death aspect to it.
So you got three options in that car when he's dead. One of them is you send it to the hospital, I believe. Take him
Send
to
it,
the hospital.
send it to Vic.
Send it to
Yeah.
Vic, or you just leave him in the car and say, "I'll be right back," which you won't. And then, or you send it to his family. So I've sent it to his family once, which I thought was morally the right thing
Yep.
to do, because that was one of the biggest things to him is his family and stuff. So I was like, they should just get his body and then do stuff with it. Cool. Then the other one was like, I'll be right back, just because I knew I wouldn't be, because this is the second playthrough. I was like, I know I won't be back, but just see what happens. And then
Delamain just gets rid of it.
Delamain takes it to his family.
Yeah.
Because Delamain's the homie.
Yeah.
That's why.
Delamain is your AI taxi driver.
Also,
He's the best.
you can save all of the breakaways from Delamain.
Oh, okay.
You can save them.
So
Yeah.
there's one reference, one cameo from those cars, which is the GLaDOS cameo.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she tries to fucking kill you.
Yeah, exactly. And then and even makes all the cake references.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
calls you dumb because that's what the statistics say. And then
Nice.
it's, oh my God, I loved it entirely. And the voice is the right voice. And
Well,
it's so good.
I did finish that mission. One of the awesome ones was the fucking really paranoid one that goes into Haywood, and he's like, they're everywhere. The pink things. I'm like, what are you
like the
talking
fucking
about?
flamingos!
The
He
flamingos.
hates lawn flamingos, and he's like, I'm
You gotta
overly scared. You
destroy
have to
lawn
kill them.
flamingos as the mission. It's so funny.
I remember the first time I did that, I just went around shooting the flamingos, and the fucking cops show up. and
No,
I'm
tell
like,
them
"God
about
damn
the
it."
vending machine.
Oh,
yeah.
the sentient vending machine?
Yeah, so I was just
Brandon!
like minding my own business, going to another side mission, and I hear this voice out of nowhere that's like, hey you, and I'm like looking around like, where the fuck is this coming from? And I realize it's one of the fucking vending machines who starts talking to me and basically gives me like a little mini quest
Yeah,
where I had to like move a trash can out from in front of him because people weren't going to him because they couldn't find out where he was. But I was like, bro, what is this?
Well, here's the thing. If you go back, you'll have more stuff to do with him.
Oh, really?
It's a thing that you come back to every couple of days. You allude to the fact that he is sentient, and I'll just leave it at that.
Ooh.
But are they like ridiculous missions or are they like legit
No, it's just like
things?
you just talk to him. I mean, there's one chick that goes and she just bitches about her boyfriend to him, and he was like, "She's a very nice woman. Hey, V,
Go
do you-
murder his boyfriend.
do you want a coffee?" And you're like, "You're sentient, bud." And he's like, "Yeah."
For some reason, I really liked the mission with the bartender who was like, my wife's cheating on me. Can you go find
that
out?
was
that one was
wholesome.
fun.
And I was like, hell yeah, I'll find out if she's cheating on you. Fuck this bitch. And you like go and follow her.
Well, see, like when I did it, when I walked into the room, I didn't ask any questions. I was like, I've seen enough. But then when I went to go tell him about it, he got all pissed off because I didn't actually like confirm what was happening.
Oh yeah, you gotta confirm.
Oh yeah, I
And-
didn't do that. I fucked up.
I confirmed and then I killed him.
Oh, you killed the dude? Well,
Yeah.
you come to
Nice.
find out that she's actually been doing work on herself.
Yeah.
Like physically. Like just changing her appearance. She doesn't have blonde hair. She doesn't look, her facial structure looks different. That's why their son looks completely different.
Right.
And so he was just like, I wish she would have told me. And I was like, well, there might have been a reason for that. Just tell her you love her and you're sorry. And he was like, that actually saved my marriage. Thanks.
Oh.
Text message.
I
That's
was like,
it,
so
my
you're
marriage
telling me
means so
she
much.
wasn't cheating on him?
Okay, so one of my favorite things in this game was Claire. The bartender
yeah.
of the Afterlife.
Yeah, she's dope.
The
Yeah.
racer chick.
The Afterlife is a
Yeah.
famous bar that was in the original TTRPG. It is the fucking place to be if you are somebody in Night City.
Yeah, that's where you hear all the gossip too.
Yeah.
And somehow Rogue runs it now, even though she's very old, but she doesn't look it.
Yeah, she looks fit.
Yeah, right?
How do you
But
romance Rogue?
You come to find out that you're doing these missions for Claire,
Yeah.
doing these driving missions, you win races and stuff, and she talks to you about her husband. I don't know, have you guys done this
Not
mission
that
yet?
far yet.
No, yeah. I haven't gone
You mind if
there.
I spoil?
Go ahead.
Okay, you come to find out she was like, my husband died in a race. I was doing the guns, and before I transitioned to a female, that's when I realized that she's a trans woman.
Oh wow.
But when they brought that in, I was like, damn, good on CD Projekt Red for like giving representation and making you feel like it could be accepted.
That was another cool thing, especially when it comes to building your character, is you have so many options. When you could have a female or male body build, you can have female or male voice regardless of your body build. You can also pick your genitals or choose
Yeah.
not to have
There's
any.
no restrictions on how. Yeah, that's true. You can also have none.
Yeah.
Call it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what was it?
Yeah.
Wasn't yours a female build with a big
Huge
schlong
dick.
uncut?
I have to explain this every time. Everyone's like, how big did you make your wiener? Okay.
Of course, extra large. What do you mean?
Biggest wiener ever.
So penis 2, very big, uncircumcised,
Oh wow. All right.
just
No.
huge.
I also
All natural.
I have to admire the fact that we all made female characters for
Yes,
our first
this is
character.
true.
did
Yeah.
do that.
I just wanted a badass chick to be beating up all these people. Is what it was.
Just wanted a really tiny girl
Yeah.
with gorilla arms and a tire iron.
All right, guys.
Solving all the problems.
Goes
and
with
changing
blunt
tires.
weapons.
Big,
Love it.
big shout out to one of the best side characters though, Pan Am.
Yeah.
She's grimy, man. I don't
She's
know
a
why
hot
people
head
love
white girl
her.
with
She has the
dreads.
nastiest fucking hair, dude. She has those white girl dreadlocks that where it's like it's
Oh.
fucking matted. It's not even dreadlocks.
Well, I'm talking about her character, not her design. All right.
Dude, I can't tell you how many times that game forced me to look at her ass. It forced me to stare at her ass because you have to walk behind her. And I'm like, can I just run past her because she's annoying the fuck out of me? I'm
Such
going to
a
betray her ass the
hothead.
second time so I can get a better car, honestly.
She's a hothead for sure. I like her.
Yeah, me and Mur both have to cool down when
Nope.
we're on our screens.
It's like, but if you want to talk about River, though.
Ooh, Daddy River.
I still haven't seen Carrie yet, though. Carrie is the
Oh, yeah.
original fucking person from Samurai. Also, the soundtrack in this game. Holy fucking shit.
Oh,
Yep,
man.
we cannot miss talking about the music. They have so much music in this game. It's
What
ridiculous.
was interesting too is that they commissioned a lot of big name artists to make
Right.
songs for this. They have people like Run the Jewels, Grimes, Shy Girl and BB.
Oh,
Health-
did you
Health
guys
is
meet
on there.
Lizzie Wizzy?
Lizzie Wizzy, played by Grimes. I
Yeah.
met her. She's a bitch. She's crazy.
He is
I love
fucking
it.
crazy. She's also fully chrome.
Yeah, she's completely chrome,
As
totally
Grimes would
automated.
be.
Yeah, right. That's spot on for how
It's such
Grimes
a
would
Grimes
be.
character.
That's the thing. They made these radios that all go to a certain genre, and they basically commissioned artists to make songs for the game, which I even found out that one of the artists didn't even realize he was in the game.
Yeah, that's hilarious. They
I ta-
probably just took submissions and they're like, thanks.
They even created bands for this band, like Samurai. You can actually find them on Spotify.
Yeah.
That's the
They have
that's
a
the
full
how lore,
soundtrack.
like deep the lore goes.
Or the other samurai band, like
Yeah.
Samurai or
Samurai.
Samurai.
But Samurai actually released a song in 2019, like far before the game was
Right.
released. which
Wow.
is
Just like
interesting.
promoting it.
Yeah, fun
was really
promo.
cool.
And
I
I
love
guess
that.
Keanu Reeves actually sings on one of
He
the
does.
tracks.
Yep.
Mhm.
He sings on the big one, never fade away.
Fucking beast.
Yeah.
But yeah, the soundtrack is really good. I really like the health song.
I
Major
love that Run
Crimes.
the Jewels did the like montage song
Yeah,
that you have with Jackie. I really hate that they made you love Jackie so much in the beginning of the game just to take him away. I was like, you guys
Oh.
are awful for doing this for the storyline. What the fuck?
I mean, there's like over 14 hours of music,
Yeah,
Yeah.
something
and
like that.
every gang has their own battle theme,
Yep.
which is I appreciate.
They put so much time into making the script, so all of the like dialogue scenes are really good. I never felt like they were poorly written or even poorly acted. So much good voice acting.
Yeah, and you have a lot of options for where the dialogue can take
Yeah,
you.
and it'll change a lot about how the game plays.
Mm-hmm.
Like just between you and I talking about it, we really had different experiences. But also, it's how you handle it. I like to just shoot people first and then ask questions after,
No,
which is
yeah.
not the way to go in Cyberpunk. Don't do that.
And then whether you're a
You lose a lot of
corpo,
info.
a nomad, a street kid, and also going into your attribute
Right.
level, you'll have certain dialogue options.
Oh, that's
available
true,
to
yeah.
you. Like I've heard having high cool gives you some of the best dialogue options.
It does. You end up just being like this really badass and literally a cool character.
Yeah.
You're just the wittiest person
Yeah,
ever,
you have-
all the
Oh
time.
my god! There was an option that I was really mad I couldn't choose because apparently I wasn't cool enough. But you walk up and it's Johnny and she's like, "Oh no, don't jump off the edge." As he's like standing there, and I was like, "This is great. I wish I could have used that line." But there's so many moments where you have all these lines you could have used, and it's because you have to have that one up really high. But I guess you can only really max out like 2 of your stats.
Yeah, because you start with what around like, I want to say like 10 base attribute
6,
points.
I think.
Yeah.
6, yeah, about 6. Well, everything is at 3 to
Oh,
begin
that's right.
with,
Yeah.
and then you have an additional 6 you can add from the beginning, and
Yeah.
then each level will give you another attribute point you can add to it. But realistically, you'll only be able to max out 20 for about 2 of them.
What I really like is doing the thing gives you the thing. So if you're
Yeah.
hacking, you're gonna get perks, or
Yeah.
because
Right.
you're hacking.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you're
That's,
gonna
yeah.
punch people,
definitely
you'll
a
get
really
more
dope
stuff.
system they have in here
Yeah, you can get athletic points just from jumping around
and running.
and straight up running.
It really reminds me of the Oblivion games.
Yeah,
Overscroll
that's
Oblivion,
true.
Because in that game, every time that you did something, you leveled up in that thing. So, and even like
Makes
running
sense.
around, you got more stamina and more athletics. You could just stand there jumping in Oblivion, and you would get
Yeah.
jumping. You'd get better at jumping.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
You'll
Things
get
like
points
that.
for hacking things. You'll even get points for sneaking up behind people and cracking their neck.
Yep.
I've never wanted to replay a game as much as I have this game, just restarting and making a new character because it's so different.
Yeah.
Plus, you find different items. You might find like certain weapons that are like, what's the word? Iconic.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I always find different weapons, and it totally changes how your game plays because you'll have this one weapon you get super attached to, and you just keep it and try to upgrade it, and then you just find one in a box somewhere, like in an alley. You're like, this is way better.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like they all have different attributes. Like there's chemical
Right.
damage, electricity. My one of the ones that I haven't used that much, but it's really cool. Ricochet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like hitting a wall, so
Oh my
it just
God,
fucking
dude. I
pegs
use
them.
the shotgun ricochet, which is hilarious because it's just a wall of damage that bounces off, and you can just take someone out behind a box or something.
It's
Or
ve-
you use the tech one where you
it's
just
super in depth with its combat,
Right.
and its dialogue options for sure.
Lots of variety too.
There's so much to talk about this game. It's hard to put it within like an hour,
shoot. Right.
but I mean, I believe at this point we've all played the game enough to say that the work that was put into it is very much appreciated, and it's hard work that is
Yeah.
like well
Also,
paid
the
off.
glitches aren't even that bad. Like
They're honestly kind of funny.
they're mostly comical. Yeah.
Yeah.
You end up having your character like sit awkwardly, or like people just suddenly do a T pose out of nowhere, or you're like riding your motorcycle and then you stand on it for no reason. It just does weird
You
shit
call
like
your
that.
car and it falls out of the sky.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or it comes in all fucked up, like it tried
Yeah.
to get there as fast as possible and hit everyone and everything on the way there.
God. My favorite one that I've encountered so far is I tried to get into my car while it was near another one, and it just flipped. It just suddenly flipped over. Or when I drove on top of a car and then got stuck. And it was like a turtle, like sitting on top of it.
I've had some weird more glitches since I've been playing more. I've had some more annoying ones, like trying to track like objectives and things like that. Sometimes it won't like click and actually like do the tracking for it, which is honestly really annoying.
Or the screen persist where it shows you something that stays on
the
there.
boss's health bar is still at 0%, and I have walked 1,000 kilometers away from there, and it's still there. So there's definitely bugs here that are like a little worthy of like their minor annoyances, or they're funny.
They're working on it.
but
Nothing
that's
game breaking.
The most of it is just minor annoyances or humorous
Right.
glitches.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's anything that would block me from playing the game. The only thing that would prevent me from playing the game is if I had a really slow system that didn't have high enough graphics to
Right.
where it's like honestly not worth it. Because I did purchase this originally for my laptop, and the system was just too slow to handle the graphics on it. But we have another computer we play it on, so that's fine.
Right.
That's the thing. There's like motion blur. There's film grain. There's all these other things
There's
that make
so
the
much
aesthetic very
options
nice.
you can turn on and off in that game.
Yeah.
But I think what I want to see with the game, because they do have 2 updates that will come in January and in February.
DLC.
We want to see DLC.
Free DLC.
We want to see free DLC.
because that
more
company is
level.
the only one that ever does free content.
We want to see a bigger level cap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be dope.
Probably more side missions. Probably even maybe new fixers.
Yeah.
Dude, let me change my fucking hair.
That too. Absolutely.
That's all I want. I just
a
want
big
a
one.
different hairstyle because I like the intro one, but like, let me change it.
My character is evolving, and so is my style.
Right. Also, if you drive from inside of the car, you're a fucking psycho.
Oh yeah.
I do
Oh,
that,
it's-
but with
it's-
only
it's hard.
motorcycles.
Well, yeah, because you can see over it. But if you're in a car,
Yeah.
you can't see shit out of the windows.
Yeah, it's only really good for motorcycles. Otherwise, like you don't
You
know
have
where
no
the fuck
peripheral
you
vision.
are.
That's why
Yeah.
you can't fucking drive it in a 2D setting. So like, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, any final thoughts?
I think the game is really good.
Ratings? Would
Go
you guys
play it.
recommend it?
Like, I'm not a big video game person, and you know this. I don't play much
Yeah.
besides like fucking Sims and Animal Crossing and Minecraft. But
Yeah.
this game got me really into fucking.
You
video
saw me
games.
playing, and you're like, I have to get this game.
Yeah, yeah, it's an incredible game. I would compare it to Grand Theft Auto, but it's better, way more intricate, way more interesting.
Yeah.
If
Grand
you
Theft
have,
Auto didn't have the detail.
Yeah, if you have the system to run it, I would highly recommend playing this game because there's something for everybody to love here.
So, going off of the Grand Theft Auto comparison, it's very much a Witcher meets Grand Theft Auto
Ooh,
Yeah.
combination of games. But
makes
I
sense.
feel, coming from myself who played The Witcher 3 a lot all the way
So
through,
good.
it is really good. And I feel like Cyberpunk's a little bit of a step down in terms of like plot complexity.
Oh,
because,
I could see that, yeah.
Because with the main storyline for Cyberpunk, it kind of gives you the illusion of choice, whereas like the same thing is going to happen regardless of what you say. It's just more so how do you say it. Whereas like all of your choices in The Witcher impacted the end of the game like to massive
Really
extent.
heavily, yeah.
Really like, and if you fuck up like and do really badly in one part, like that drastically comes back later. And I didn't really feel that too much with Cyberpunk like on the later stages. Not that I'm not addicted to it and playing it aggressively at the moment. But
Well, I haven't gotten to the very ending of the game,
Same.
but I have heard that certain decisions, especially the relationships you make, will affect how the end of the game plays out.
that's true, but it's just not as wide spanning as The Witcher was, which is what I was a little disappointed with. To be quite honest, I was definitely
Dude,
like,
I got stuck playing Gwent in The Witcher for like days.
See, I just ignored Gwent.
The
and did all
internal
other
card
stuff.
game they have in that, I was like, this is ridiculous. People played it so much they had to take it out of the game and sell it just by itself. You can go and play Gwent just by itself and not play The Witcher, which is hilarious. But I agree. There's a lot more story. I still haven't finished The Witcher because there's so much stuff in it.
Yeah, there is a lot.
And you really are going to change a lot about what happens. I feel like in Cyberpunk, they're focused a lot on the aesthetic of like how it's going to look, all the details in the
And
city,
sound,
and
too.
like the music. So like the main storyline was probably like you said, gives you the illusion that you're going to have these choices. But like of the choices you have, almost all of them lead you back
to the
same thing that's
and
going to happen.
It just doesn't change it enough
Right.
for me. Whereas like in The Witcher, I had a playthrough where I fucked up everything, and it was just the worst possible outcome that happened at the ending. And then when I got to the end of Cyberpunk, I was very much like, okay, so what did the only big thing was if you finish, I think I did all of Pan Am's missions and whatnot, so you got to like team up with the Aldecados at the end,
Right.
which was cool to see all that play out and whatnot. So that was interesting. So it seems like you have branching allies at the end depending on who you
Yeah,
choose.
you could cut off Pan Am pretty quick if you want.
Yeah, exactly.
You could just betray her and then you get a cool car. That's like the reward for doing that.
Yeah, and so but I know I just wanted to see bigger. I wanted
Yeah.
to see bigger outcomes from everything that I did as well.
I do wonder if they're going to add more DLC in the terms of more story that might be like a little better.
Yeah,
Or like they have more time to do just that section.
I would also like some sort of cue for what specific, because you have like 3 different progressions that you're working with. One
Yeah.
that like influences like your relation with Johnny, and then one with like your view on the street,
gotcha.
and then I can't remember what the third one is. But they're just not. It's not very easy to figure out what missions you're doing apply to those check boxes and whatnot.
I think you just have like the percentage thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But like even that's not super clear.
it's not clear at all.
Yeah,
No.
so
and that's like there's
that would
little,
make sense.
little things like that. So I'd give the game like an 8 out of 10 for the most part, maybe a 7.5 if I'm feeling really mean. But yeah, that's just because I'm comparing it to like The Witcher 3.
Well, I mean, that was
like,
the game they made last.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. I'm giving that comparison because they took more
Yeah.
time with this one, and it seemed like they delivered a little bit less
Right.
than what I wanted. Not that it's not great, though. I didn't really enjoy it, but I got to criticize things I love.
I think this was like a great successor for the Cyberpunk name. Like, this has been something that's been pen and paper for
Long
over
time.
a fucking decades. There's been multiple decades going on. And so finally to see Mike Pondsmith's like world fully
Yeah.
fleshed out in a game that I could walk around in.
Such good timing too for this game to come out.
And
Yeah.
like the allusions to everything within current politics, current racism, current like societal and class differences. Just I believe the game is funny in the ways that it isn't really out in your face.
Right.
You're like, this is really subtly funny and just fucking fucked up.
There's so much funny lines in this, and then
Yeah.
it switches to something super dark, and you're like, oh, this is a little disturbing. I don't know if I want to play this part of the game.
Right. But this game, it's probably gonna be the only thing I'm gonna be really playing for the next
Oh yeah,
year.
completely
Yeah.
obsessed
Sure.
with it. Yeah.
So I am going to give it a 9. I think the game itself is something that was made from a guy with a lot of heart. And the heart is shown in it for sure.
I definitely think my rating is pretty high for this. As someone that doesn't come from a video game background, I would give this a 9.5. I think it's thoroughly enjoyable, super detailed, and exactly what I would want from a video game.
I'm going to stick with an 8 or maybe even 8.5.
Yeah.
Just because because I was thinking about the same thing that Mitch was thinking about. I just wish the storyline would affect it much more, because then you would have the replayability of going through the same storyline and seeing those differences of being like, oh, if you stop talking to this person, you kill this person, then it changes how the rest of the storyline is going to play out, or instead of just coming back to the same thing. The only things that are drastic like that are the side missions,
Yeah.
because if you don't fuck with certain side missions, then you'll never know about that story. And it doesn't affect the main storyline, but it's all sort of it branches out and then it never comes back.
Mm-hmm.
It's just taking you on these stories that are not connected.
Yeah, you go on a story and then the story is done, and you're
Yeah.
just running around finding random
Right.
little short stories to play
Yeah.
through. And
I do not like certain side missions that are go get this item, take it to this person, because it reminds me too much of World of Warcraft. And I
Yeah.
hate grindy shit like that, where it's go kill 10 of these things and come back. That's like the worst thing I could possibly do.
And we'll
in
give
any
you
of those games.
$1,000.
Yeah, it doesn't make
That's
sense.
it.
I like the weird ones where it's like, go and find this car and drop it off, and then a dude pops out the trunk, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I have
That
to
was
deal
cool.
with this guy. Like, do you kill this guy? Do you put him back in the trunk?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? It judges your morals a lot. Like, are you gonna help these people? Are you gonna not help them?
Are you about the money or
Yeah,
the moral?
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and
Do
even
you
then
fuck your
those,
fixer over?
and even
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
and even then, I want those choices to reflect more in like,
Right.
especially like the percentages of like the different paths that they have. I'd like those
Yeah.
to affect it more, or have like a morality chart or something like some old BioWare games have.
They
and
could even
whatnot.
make certain areas more dangerous by your actions. Like, you
Yeah.
fucked over a certain member, then they're like, you go and they're like, oh, they recognize you. Like, you can't
Yeah.
come over here. They could even do subtle things like that. But I'm sure they're gonna add more stuff to it, and I like it a lot. I'm gonna be playing it for a while.
Yeah, because this
Same.
game, although is very beautiful, is not finished yet.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's certain elements that people are discovering, and they're like, well, what is this empty space over here that doesn't have anything in it? Like when they found the rail system,
Yeah.
they weren't sure if it was supposed to be finished or if it was just something they had there.
Too many locked doors.
Yeah.
When I've got a technical ability of like 10 plus, I should be opening up all those fucking locked doors.
Even if it's just for like a
somehow.
weird room of like random samurai
Even if it's-
posters.
if it-
I don't know,
even
something.
If it's just trash.
Yeah.
If it's just a bunch of white items, I don't give a fuck.
Let me
Just
open it.
Open the door.
That's
Yeah.
fair. I do encounter a lot of locked doors.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, that's pretty much it. You want to
Yeah.
wrap up the episode?
Thank you for listening to Bringing Down the Grindhouse. We
there he
appreciate
goes.
the support. We are on all streaming services, anywhere that you can stream a podcast, most notably Apple and Spotify, as well as our SoundCloud. We have t-shirts on Teespring, as well as a Patreon, which you could now donate to. A $2 minimum, and you could recommend a piece of horror-themed content to us, and we will take it into consideration for a episode. We are going to be doing an episode next week for a Patreon subscriber named Sean. Sean, thank you for your support.
We love you.
Other than that, you can find us on all our socials. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are the main three. And just leave us a comment. Maybe you want to debate with us. I don't care. I really want to just nap now. So thanks for coming out and doing the episode. We're bringing down the Grindhouse.
I'm Mitch.
I'm Murr.
I'm just seeing.
And I'm Jonathan. Thank you.
Boop, boop, boop.